Day one of the US Open in the books, and what a day it was. Daniil Medvedev, he steals all of the headlines. Chaos at the US Open. He was behind it. We're going to be speaking about that story. Djokovic gets through in 3 sets, but looked a little shaky at times. And Alexandra Eala, she wins from the brink of defeat. A lot to speak about on day one.
That's right, day one in the books, and he's doing it again. It's Daniil Medvedev losing yet again to Benjamin Bonzi in a slam, and it's now 3-0 in the head-to-head. We both bottled it in the draw preview. Neither of us picked it, but we did allude to the fact it may happen again, and it did, but in more dramatic circumstances than I think either of us could even imagine. And everybody at home, I want to hear everybody's comments about this in the comment section. Tell us your thoughts about it, because this wasn't just a straightforward, just straight sets win, was it? No, something crazy happens at match point with Bonzi about to serve out for a straight sets win, how as crazy as that sounds. And then a cameraman walks onto the court after a first serve. And then it was supposed to be a second serve. The umpire gives him a first serve again, and Medvedev's meltdown begins. 6 minutes of chaos, and him berating the umpire, the crowd booing, Bonzi just having to stand there throughout it all, and this little cameraman just skulking away off to the sidelines to continue to take photos of the mess he just created. What do you make of that, JG?
Well, there's so much to unpack here, but we've got to start with what happened with the photographer. I think his access needs to be revoked. It is an innocent mistake, but a mistake which could have been extremely costly. Benjamin Bonzi, you'd have to think if that didn't happen, there was a lot higher chance that he would have closed the match in 3 or made the 4th set at least semi-competitive. But because of that one incident where he walked onto the court, Daniil Medvedev, let's be fair, is in the wrong with his whole attitude. Yet it is entertaining. You can have, I think, both sides of that. Without that one incident happening, everything else wouldn't have transpired the way it did. And Benjamin Bonzi almost went out of this US Open after playing extremely well because of one moment of craziness, really. And the cameraman, I think, needs to, well, he needs to, his access needs to be revoked because it's a mistake which could have been extremely costly. I don't think he meant to do it, but you need to be a little bit more aware in a situation like this.
Why was he trying to leave during a point? That's what I don't understand.
Probably to try and get a closer view of the match point, right? Or was he trying to leave down the tunnel?
I think he just got up and he just started walking. Like no
but
one else
onto the court. That's the thing. You can't do that.
I just don't really understand what was going on through his head. Has he been to any tennis matches before and seen that the umpires tried to control the crowd from even moving? So for him to even think that walking onto a tennis court during a match, I mean, it's insanity. If this happened like anywhere else, I think there would be some sort of like they revoke his pass, or I don't know who he even worked for. I don't know his name. I don't really want to name and shame him, but I'm sure it's going to be out there by now. This is one of the most bizarre things that I've seen in a long time, but it's just typical. It happens during a Daniil Medvedev match. And what did you make of Medvedev's reaction? Do you think this was warranted? Like, what? Tell me your thoughts on it.
Well, that's what we've got to speak about more than anything, because the reaction went on, like you say, for the 5 minutes and then continued for the rest of the match. I mean, it was something I've never seen in a Grand Slam. I've never seen a crowd rally behind a player like they did. Daniil Medvedev was throwing fuel onto the fire with all of the heart gestures to the crowd. He was bigging them up, doing everything like that. And the crowd, they were going into battle. They're going to war with Daniil Medvedev. Yeah. Daniil Medvedev, he went up to the guy, said, "Are you a man? Are you a man? Why are you shaking? What's wrong, huh?" guy, he wants to leave. He gets paid by the match, not by the hour. I feel like he said the same thing to the umpire as well, right? Or am I getting mixed up?
That's what he said to the umpire,
yeah. He went up to the cameraman, the photographer first, right?
Yeah, well,
and he was shouting at him as well.
It's just shouting at it. It was bizarre, mate. I don't know what to make of it.
The crowd, though, they literally backed him 100%. They were fully behind it, and as much as it is really bad, and we can't condone the behaviour of Daniil Medvedev and support it, because you can't act like that. It is very unsportsmanlike, rallying up a crowd. And as much as he says, "Oh, what's my involvement in it?" The crowd wouldn't stop. I wasn't doing anything. I was just showing love to the crowd. He knows what he's doing. Let's be fair. Without him doing all of his actions, the crowd would have been quieter a lot sooner. So of course he is to blame for goading the crowd. I must admit, I found it extremely entertaining, and in that moment, I was willing for Daniil Medvedev. I wanted him to come through and win the match. Maybe that reflects badly on me, but I just got behind him as well, in the sense that I wanted him to win. I wanted him to try and force a comeback. But if you're being impartial, so I'm going to take my bias aside, because obviously I like Daniil Medvedev, it was wrong what he did, and it's very unfair and unsportsmanlike, because Benjamin Bonzi almost lost this match due to everything what was happening. In terms of his tennis, he was the better player. Daniil Medvedev showed some really good flashes and times. There were some nice volleys from him, some good shots here and there, but he's just not at the level. Daniil Medvedev, if you take a whole match in terms of his tennis, because we've not spoke about that at all really for a long time, he is playing like a top 20 player, around the sort of 10 to 20 mark. I wouldn't put him as a top 10 player. He's not someone who can compete for Grand Slams. Benjamin Bonzi seems to raise his level whenever he plays him, because he's beaten him twice now in Grand Slams this year. And really, the whole thing was a complete mess.
I couldn't agree more. And condoning this behavior, I can't really do it. I know it's great for this sort of, it's everything that the US Open's about, is a bit of like getting the crowd involved, that type of thing. We know he's had back and forth with the US Open crowd in the past. This was him trying to get
popcorn. It was popcorn. Yeah. It has got eyes on the sport. A lot of people will be watching it. People will be tuning in from the mainstream media. People who don't watch tennis that have seen this incident, and they're going to be invested to see what happens now in Benjamin Bonzi's next match, or Daniil Medvedev for that, because people now know who he is and the carnage he can cause and create.
I think the problem with this is, and I'm just thinking of this on the spot, is these players who are, well, I'm not going to try and dismiss him too much, but he'll be well outside the top 20 in the ATP race. He's not won a title since May 2023. Yeah. If you become one of these players who no longer wins titles, no longer is in the top 20, is this how you stay relevant? Like, Bublik was always the joker. Kyrgios was always the joker. You're always causing controversy, but you're in the headlines all the time. Is this what it becomes when you're no longer competitive at the top of the sport? Or is this just his frustrations boiling over? Look at his results.
This is his personality, Ben. This is his personality.
Well, look at this.
I wouldn't read too much into it, because he's always been a bit like this, of a character. Yeah, but it's only getting a lot worse now because he's losing.
Yeah,
and he is going down the ranking so much.
Well, look at these stats as well. It says, Oleg says here, okay, as the random stat guy, I can't help posting this. Med at slams in 2024, 18 wins, 4 losses. Best wins over number 1, number 6, number 9, number 10, and the worst loss to number 11. In 2025, he's won 1 match, lost 4, with his lone win over a number 418 in the world. Losses to number 51, 64, 81, and 121 in the world. And if you can take us through this next one as well, I've just got another one, not to like pile it on with Daniil. Bear with me one sec.
It seems like that's what you're doing, Ben.
Well, I think you got to. Daniil. This last bit of the last bit. It's just Medvedev's horrendous season.
Yeah, round 2, round 1, round 1 in slams this year, and it seems to be off the back of, I don't know, that really tragic loss he had at a Grand Slam final against Jannik Sinner, 2 sets up, lost in 5. happened with him against Nadal, but really following that moment, he's not been the same player.
No.
And it is a tough period for him. I mean, if you go all the way to the end, you see him in the chair, sitting there in a really bad way, smashing up his racket. A lot of people, after seeing this part of it, have a bit of sympathy for him mentally because he's not in a right headspace at all. And a lot of people, I think the majority are calling for him to have a break from tennis. He doesn't seem to be displaying that he's going to be doing anything like that, because in the post-match press conference, he was sort of deflecting a lot of the blame, referencing other players, saying how it's always the same people getting targeted and playing a little bit more of the victim card, which makes me think he's going to be playing. And we know we're going into the indoor hard court season now, probably his best. I think he's very good on the indoor hard courts. But mentally, if he's really struggling like it appears that he is, a break from tennis could be the best thing for him. Because no one wants to see a player go through what he's doing right now. It is really hard to watch. And I don't think he's playing terribly in moments. Like in certain moments, he's okay. It just seems like the big moments, he's lost his confidence a bit and he makes too many uncharacteristic, unforced errors when it matters. We've always seen him be a little bit, what's the word? Looks like a bit blasé. I don't really care in match points. You see him do double faults or double faults on set points. He's always been a bit like that of a character. I think that's at his own detriment, and we're starting to see that now, because in big moments, and I don't mean just set points or match points or break points, anything like that, just generally, when it's like 4-4 or really tight in a match, he gives away too many cheap points, because I don't feel like he's playing the Daniil Medvedev brand of tennis in them moments. His brand of tennis is high percentage tennis. He keeps the ball in play and frustrates the opposition. We know he's got a killer punch when it matters, and if he needs to. I think he needs to go back to that, just wearing down opponents. Obviously, that style has become a little bit more difficult, because I think the whole tour has leveled up. From the last sort of 5 years when he was doing it and it was working amazingly, the tour's leveled up now. And I don't think it is enough just to keep the ball going in play. But because of how good he is at it, he will still beat a lot of these players. And I think he would have been a little bit more successful against Benjamin Bonzi if he reverted to the old Daniil Medvedev, the frustrating Daniil Medvedev, the one who could beat everyone on a hard court. He looked so good not too long ago. And I was saying he was the best hard court player in the world. It was him and Novak Djokovic. He's so far away from that right now, because I feel he's not using these big moments in a clever way. He's spiraling out of control. And
I agree.
I don't know if it's going to get much better for him personally. I think it's now difficult for him to regain what he had, and I don't see him contending for Grand Slams anytime soon.
Yeah, totally agree with you on pretty much all of that. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think tennis is passing him by at the moment. He's not making the adjustments required and improvements in his game to stay at the top of the sport. Even somebody like Djokovic is struggling to hang in there with the likes of someone like a Sinner, who's becoming so amazing at the top of the sport. But he's still made adjustments to his game if he sees like parts of it which aren't effective anymore. Like Djokovic's serve, obviously, we know he's improved that over time, because he's had to improve it, because at other parts of his game he might be slowing down, but the serve's something which has got better and better, so it's obviously helped him. Daniil, standing so far back on return of serve, that type of thing, or playing percentage tennis, not going for aggressive shots enough, that's not how tennis is played anymore. You have to go aggressive to be able to beat players. That's why Bonzi's beating him, because Bonzi's the more aggressive player. Bonzi is the one thing that we're not talking about here, which is someone we should be really championing, because he's done it again against a really good player. He doesn't get the credit deserved, because now it's all just a circus around Daniil Medvedev the whole time. I know it's because Daniil's a former Grand Slam champion, former US Open champion, but what Bonzi's doing, he knows how to beat Daniil Medvedev, and you've got to give him credit for that. But everybody else should just watch the blueprint. Bonzi knows how to beat him. Just watch how he beats him, and you'll probably be able to beat him too if you have the same mentality as Benjamin Bonzi. he kept his cool in big moments. Obviously not that moment because it was just turned into a circus. But right at the end, to lose that set and the next set 6-love and still win the fifth, credit to Bonzi. That is like something remarkable, I think.
Well, that's what surprised me the most, I feel, because in that fifth set, I was pretty certain that Daniil Medvedev would have won it. I don't know. Did he break Benjamin Bonzi? Or was there break points? I feel like he was pushing on it at maybe like 3-2, and there was real good chances for Daniil Medvedev to convert. And I was super confident. I did not think there was any other alternative than Benjamin Bonzi losing in the 5 sets.
Yeah, I mean, he was down. Yeah, I mean, he got broken straight away in that fifth set. He broke straight back. He got broken again, but then managed to break straight back. Like each time he got broken, he managed to really fight. And then he was nearly broken
I felt like
again.
at that moment, then I thought that he was going to go on and break and win the fifth. But this is where you got to give a lot of credit for Benjamin Bonzi for keeping in there. This is what he said. He said, Medvedev likes to play the villain, and he certainly played that role tonight with an Oscar-winning performance. But I'll tell you what, the good guy has prevailed this evening. I don't think that was Benjamin Bonzi. That was the commentator who said that. I agree. And it is true, but it is entertaining on the other hand. And I am a Medvedev fan. I did like watching everything because it was interesting and funny and entertaining. All of his mannerisms. He was mocking Bonzi during it. He was doing different things with the crowd. There was a lot of memeable, clippable Daniil Medvedev magic moments. But the point is, did it cross the line? Of course it did. Was it disrespectful? Yes, it was. Do we need that in tennis? Sometimes I think we do, but this I think did cross too many lines, and we can't set this as the precedent for other players to follow. All in all, is it really his fault it started? No, because the photographer did something idiotic coming onto the court. But then could it have been something else with Daniil Medvedev? It is likely. We know what type of character he is. The photographer couldn't have picked a worse player to do such an incident to. I mean, if you were to pick anyone on the tour, I feel like Nick Kyrgios or Daniil Medvedev, you would have got this kind of reaction. Anyone else, you'd have been all right. I mean, Moutet wouldn't have been happy, but I don't feel like Moutet is the same. He would not go to the same levels as Daniil Medvedev. He's on his own there.
Yeah, I know that he's criticising the umpire a lot. He obviously said to Greg Allensworth, what did Riley Opelka say? He earns by the match, not by the hour. Umpire just wants to go home. And if you're, wondering what obviously Riley Opelka said, this is he said Greg Allensworth is the worst ref in the ATP. He said that's what we all say in the locker room together. And obviously Daniil Medvedev, this is what he said as well. He said, I have no idea how much the punishment fine will be today. I didn't do anything wrong. I hope he gets fined too today because he received a lot of coaching to the point that no longer knows if it is allowed or not. In the end, they always find the same people: Kyrgios, Bublik, myself, even Opelka, who, despite being a good guy, gets fined because they don't like him. And there you go. So Daniil, very, very annoyed about this whole scenario. He thinks that he was the one hard done by just because it was out of his control. But I mean, you can look at it two ways. He still got himself back in the match with his actions and still lost the match. So you've only got yourself to blame, really. If you caused a big disruption in the match, which caused you to get back into the match, and then you still weren't able to close out the match despite being a break up in the fifth set as well, it's on you, mate. So you were the one who got yourself back in it and then eventually pretty much bottled it at the end. So I don't have any sympathy for Daniil Medvedev because he was in a losing position anyway, and then he threw away a winning position. So come back stronger, take a bit of a break. I think I might maybe take a month off, just come back on the indoor hard. I think
That's up to him. That's up to him
yeah.
to decide. And I'm sure we're going to find out soon what Daniil Medvedev decides to do.
Yeah.
In the meantime, let us know in the comment section, what did you make about Daniil Medvedev on day one? It was the big story of the US Open. Let's speak about some other stories as well, because we can't do the whole episode on Daniil Medvedev, as much as it's very easy to do so, because there's a lot to discuss. Let us know your comments and we'll read them all. Do you think he was wrong? Do you think he was right? What did you make of it all? It'll be interesting to hear. But the big story, apart from him, was Alex Eala, the 20-year-old, defeating the number 14 seed Clara Tauson, 6-3, 2-6, 7-6, and that was 13-11 in the tiebreak. Not the first time we've seen her do a tiebreak in that nature. There wasn't one too long ago. I remember I was messaging you at the time. I think she may have lost that one.
It was against my joint.
Yeah, she lost that one. It was a crazy tiebreak as well. And now she's put that right, and she's won a tiebreak in that nature, just showing she's learning, she's improving. I caught your video only about an hour before doing this episode, and I must admit, I really enjoyed it. I thought your passion was great. It was very interesting to hear you sort of break down all of the match, because I didn't see the match live. I was watching other things at the time. And yeah, I think I echo a lot of what you said. She is an incredible fighter, someone who has a lot of quality, who wears her heart on her sleeve. Rafael Nadal will be super proud of her. And I don't know how far she can go. I think it all seems a little bit too soon right now, personally. I don't think we should get too carried away, because she was on the verge of going out here. But really, her grit and determination got her over the line. There was also some moments where the opponent, Tauson, was claiming that her racket was over the net. And I think that was a really big turning point in the match, because the moment that was deemed in favour, which it should have been, rightly, for Alex Eala, I think a bit of momentum shifted too. And in tennis, we see this so many times. Fine margins, one incident, everything shifts from there on out. But I'm really pleased for the girl that she was able to get through, and I hope she can go further and further. But I'm not filled with loads of confidence, because, let's be fair, it was on a knife edge, and she just about got over the line against an opponent who I wasn't expecting to go and win this tournament.
Not to win the tournament, but I think that to beat somebody like Clara Tauson, you would, I say a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, probably wouldn't have been such a big result. But I think, considering how good Tauson's been this year, you've got to give Alex Eala credit. This is the 14th seed. And bear in mind, I think I looked down. Obviously, we're saying how good Iga Swiatek has been this past few months. There's only a few people who have beaten Iga, and Clara Tauson is one of them. So that is what one big takeaway from this is. Alex Eala now, now she's beaten the number 14 seed.
Was it twice she beat Iga, or once and almost the other time?
Yeah, Tauson only beat her once. Obviously, Eala beat Iga as well. So obviously, anything you can do, I can do as well. But by beating her, now she sets up a second round matchup with either Buxa or Claire Liu, which I would say is arguably an easier matchup than Clara Tauson. And then it could be either Mertens, Lulu Sun. I'd expect either of them. And I think either of those are possibly easier than Clara Tauson as well. And then could be Sabalenka. So you never know. But if she gets all the way to that could be a fourth round. I think if she gets another win, the crowd was so invested in this match. That was the brilliant thing about it. It was like the opposite of the Medvedev style crowd. That one was all chaos and everybody booing and everybody wanting there to be justice. This one, you just watched an amazing comeback. And then when she finally got that match point, a standing ovation from a packed crowd. It was like she won the US Open. No joke. It was insane. And she was just crying on the floor. I think she's captured the hearts of the world. And this girl from the Philippines, it's insane. I love it.
Well, she won the match from 5-1 down in the third set. That is not easy to do.
Crazy.
And she even had a match point before the tiebreak as well to do it. Incredible fighting spirit to do that. Not many players can say they've done it, especially at a Grand Slam stage. And I think the world are behind her, but certainly all of the Filipinos. Shout out to you guys, because there's a lot of love we're getting on the channel, and we will be there consistently talking about Alex Eala. We think she's special as well, and we want to do your country proud and speak about such a fantastic, phenomenal talent who's only 20 years old and not got to her best yet. Her best in rankings-wise was 56 in the world. She's currently 65 after that win.
Wow.
Like you say, the next one is winnable, and she's going to be pushing and knocking on that door. I feel if she is to be able to go through the next round, then she will be at career highs. And let's see where she can go from there. Only 20 years old, a lot of time left in her career, and a future top 10 star potentially in the making.
Yeah, and we see that hard courts is definitely where she's best. The clay she will eventually adjust to, and I think that she will eventually be able to learn to slide into the ball and that type of thing. But the actual basics of her game, and you can't teach someone to have heart on a tennis court. That's like, you either have it or you don't have it. A lot of players will just lose that match there, 5-1 down, love 15. They probably just get broken, shake hands, and they're off, and you never see them again. Not her. She fights all the way back, and then she wins tennis matches. And yeah, I can't wait to see. I don't want it to be as dramatic every time, because I'd like to see her win some matches comfortably as well. But if we get treated, it reminded me a little bit of Leylah Fernandez, a little bit, to be honest. It gives me those type of vibes when she just raises the fist, and then you see her in that amazing run when she defeated all those Grand Slam champions. Can she just keep the ball rolling? That's all I want to see. Performance after performance. Don't look any further ahead than the next match.
Yeah, and speaking about Leylah Fernandez, she won her match in straight sets. So did Emma Raducanu. I'm not going to go into details because I think on paper they were very winnable matches for both players.
Easy.
But they were both very dominant. 6-1, 6-2. And the only story really to speak about is could it be that year again? We get a Leylah Fernandez, Raducanu, spectacular. We know they got to the final together. Both started extremely well. And we'll wait for that until they play some better opponents. Of course, Kudermetova went out, which is great for Raducanu because her next round match on paper is easier. But Novak Djokovic, he won another opening round match at a Grand Slam. I saw some more stats for him, but he wasn't at his best, was he, Ben?
No, and he'd be the first to admit it. 38 years old, 91 wins at the US Open, looking to make it around 100 eventually, I'm sure, to close out the career. I know that he's got 100 at a couple other slams, hasn't he? But yeah, the first set, it just looks like exactly what I expected. Djokovic playing well and just doing what he does in slams, and TN looked like a deer in the headlights. It wasn't really the TN I expected. I thought being in front of the US crowd, it may inspire him. He just looked nervous to me. The second set, he actually did come to life a little bit, but this is where Djokovic, I think he just started to falter. More unforced errors, let TN back in the match, and then the physio was called, and he looked noticeably fatigued after just, I wouldn't even say 2 sets. I'd say 1 set. This is because the first set I don't really even count. He said after the match, I don't know what was going on. I obviously hadn't played any tennis matches in 6 weeks. So I don't know if it was to do with that, but I didn't really feel very good. And he said, I felt like shattered, essentially, after just like 1 set of tennis, which that's a worry for me, that he is feeling tired after a tennis match. And it's a not particularly difficult one either. What do you make of it? Is it just like Scott Barkley says?
Djokovic looks absolutely shattered, which means he's absolutely fine. Yeah, I don't read too much into this at all. He's going to be fine. The thing which I did like was the blister. I don't know if you saw that on ESPN. They showed the blister on the main screen. So
I'll have a look
he
at this.
battled. I've just sent it to you, I think.
Lovely stuff. Oh, delicious.
Novak Djokovic battled a painful big toe blister to secure a straight sets victory over Lernatian. Despite requiring a medical timeout for the bloody injury, the Serbian star dominated to advance. And ESPN have got a bit of criticism for showing his foot on the screen. What did you make of it?
Well, apologies to anybody who's having their lunch or breakfast or anything.
Well, the audio listeners are all right.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, it looks like it's his toes shedding its skin, and he's just getting a new toe coming through like a snake or something. Not sure what's going on there. It's hanging off. I've not seen a blister quite that big on a big toe before, but that is revolting. I think that's all I can describe it as. This is a bit of a weird thing to say. If you saw a picture of that foot, would you be able to guess it's Djokovic's foot if no one told you?
Well, I mean, it's tough being a tennis player. I can imagine their feet go through a lot, all that sideways movement.
Yeah.
I do get blisters as well quite often. But yeah, that looks like a painful one. And you can imagine trying to play at the top level with a blister, what it's like. I often have problems. You get a few plasters on, but still it hurts. It's frustrating. And you've got to understand these people are human. When you have a blister, as much as it's not a big serious injury, it can be a real pain in the arse and cause a lot of problems. So Djokovic got through. I'm not reading into anything he's saying about how he's feeling, all of this stuff. I think it's all nonsense. He's totally fine. He's going to be there. His draw's quite nice. Do I think he can beat the big two? No, I don't. Nothing's changed after watching him against Lerner.
Worried me more than anything, to be honest, seeing this blister and then hearing his words in the press conference. Lastly, just to finish off, just a little bit of a fun one. I just want to get your take on it. And Jess Pegula went through against Mayar Sharif, but I've never seen, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I've never seen a forehand like Mayar Sharif's before. And I'm not sure what grip that she is using, but have you seen her grip or the way she hits a forehand? Because it is.
I didn't see it yesterday, but you'll have to. I've seen it before. So it rings a bell.
It's like you see where she's holding the racket, the angle of the racket, and if I come through, let's see where the connection with the ball is.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's sort of like some of the comments are quite comical underneath. Someone's like, "That's a backhand forehand." That's like it's like she's hitting with the back of the racket. I don't know. I don't even know how she does it. It must be awful on your elbow and your wrist. That's all I can say. Coming from the back. I mean, look how it doesn't even make sense to me.
No, I mean, I'm
you know what I mean?
I don't have much to say. Let us know what you guys think about her forehand stroke here. Looks very painful, to be fair, and difficult to do.
Yeah, anyway, I just thought I'd throw that one in there. Tell us in the comments what you make of that crazy forehand. You won't be seeing it anymore this tournament because she's out. Yeah. But there you go. It's obviously not that effective, is it? But yeah.
Yeah, some other shout-outs just before we go. Davidovich Fokina, he looked really good. Jakub Mensik getting through. I'm pleased about them too because I've got Mensik as sort of a dark horse for the tournament. New Tech going out surprised me quite a bit. And then on the women's, was there one I wanted to speak about on the women's? No, not really. It was Kudermetova going out, which I said I wasn't expecting it, but.
Two shout outs quickly. We've got to give a shout out. Marozan out of the tournament. Podcast favourite and JG favourite.
Well, that's good for Mensik, right?
Yeah, for sure. But Blanchett through, who knows if he's playing well. And the other person that we have to shout out, because I did call it in my bracket, Mannarino, straight sets win over Griekspoor and a bagel in the third. Look at that. Dangerous.
He's playing well. He's playing well at the moment. And Ben Shelton, another one who I've got going far, he won in straight sets. But let's wrap it up for day one. Daniil Medvedev, he stole the show. That is the big story. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. We're going to be here every day of the US Open. Make sure if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you tomorrow for more US Open action.